Are you recording yet?
I am.
So this time, instead of a fly, I'm gonna get a bird in my nose. I'm gonna be like the Randy Johnson of photography podcast.
Hey guys, Omar here. Welcome to the Moe and O photo show. My name is Omar Gonzalez.
And I'm Moe Morales.
And we are lovers in the park.
Where's the cheese and wine?
Isn't this amazing?
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, so we were inspired by last week when we recorded on my...
You want to keep the camera back there?
Where? Yeah, I don't care. We were inspired because we recorded on my porch because my office was too hot.
Super hot.
And so now we're like, it's a beautiful day. Let's go outside.
Let's go outside.
Next time we'll be on a beach.
We're going to have some cheese and wine for real after this. We're going to bring a beach blanket.
Oh, no.
Can you
What
hear me
happened?
still?
No, your headphone fell out, no?
I can't.
So we apologize if there's any technical difficulties. I think it's because you have airline headphones on.
All right, here we go. I'm back.
Can you hear? I can hear you. So
Oh, sorry. I never. Okay. Sorry.
you never went away, buddy.
All right.
So, sorry. If there's any technical faux pas, it's because we're outside. If you hear birds,
Listen, it's not a faux pas. We're bringing you something different. All right. Enjoy this moment with us.
no podcast has ever gone outside.
Except those other ones that do go outside.
We haven't done any research on that
Yes,
whatsoever.
We're just doing what we do.
So we're here outside in Nutley, New Jersey. That's my hometown, and it's a beautiful day. It's breezy and nice, and we decided to come outside and record. Last week we talked about photo tips. Check out that episode. We talked about top photography tips. They were just random. There was no list. Enough of this top 10 garbage. They're just going to be lists now.
No, they're not lists. Because I said no numbers before, and he started putting 1 and 2 on them. So now that he thinks it's a good idea, he wants to do it his way.
Yeah, I'm checking levels here.
Omar's the boss.
I'm hoping you don't hear too much wind or anything. We apologize for any kind of audio. Like, what kind of podcast has bad audio? So,
Ours all the time. It's what we do. We upset those people who have the cup out of focus problem. We upset the people with the mic issues.
yeah.
But you know what? We love you anyway, and I'm glad that you guys love us enough to watch us.
All right,
So,
speaking of love,
yes.
do you love your dog?
Do I love my dog? I think if Omar wants to edit enough, he could put like 15 minutes of straight my
my
dog
God.
photos only going right here.
So let me tell you how I feel about the dog.
Omar's jealous of my dog.
I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. I grew up with a dog in the 70s named Baby. It was a huge collie. He was like a beautiful dog. That was the first dog that we had, and he died. I
Like
remember
all dogs die.
Yeah, all dogs die. And I was crying like crazy. We buried the dog. Actually, you know what the real story is? My dad, he died of pneumonia.
Oh my goodness.
And we were all sad. I remember being in the bathroom as like a 10-year-old looking. You heard that bird?
Mm-hmm.
I was like in the bathroom looking in the mirror and bawling my eyes out because Baby died. And my dad put the dog in black plastic bags because we lived in Hoboken, New Jersey. It's like a small town across from New York City. He put it in black plastic bags, like that was the coffin, because he ran to the river and he was going to bury the dog. But he put the dog on the curb, on the side of the curb, and the garbage men came and took the dog body.
Before he got to come
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Aw.
He had buried this like 5-foot hole, and he came because he didn't want to leave the body in the apartment.
Right.
But he didn't want to carry it, I guess, like Dexter. Like,
Yeah. Like, hey, what's in the bag, sir?
exactly.
No. Come talk to me for a second.
That was-
It'd be Stick Romano, officer Stick Romano would probably see
Totally.
him.
His idea was like if he left it curbside, there would be no suspicions. He could run and get it then. But they took it away. The garbage men took it away. So I remember us as kids standing over this hole, and like we just threw some dirt in, and my dad, like, you know. So I didn't have a dog after that, and so I guess I was traumatized. You know, the death of a dog. But I love dogs, but I'm also taken aback by people who love their dogs, like dress their dogs up.
Yeah, me.
Child stuff. All
Well,
right, so
I don't dress my dog on a regular basis, but I have put him in costumes. He's been Darth Vader. He's been Batman. He's been a lot of things.
for those of you not watching the visuals, I'm like cracking up because every time I see this damn dog dressed up, I laugh like crazy. Like, what a nut job. But,
You know, it's one of those things where I love all animals, and I love them to the point where I love some animals more than most humans. You know,
it's true.
so I think, you know, I lost my Labrador that we had for 13 years last year. Okay. And my son and I, that was his first pet. We had a whole family trip to go get him up in Maine, Massachusetts together.
Yeah.
We had barbecue on the way up. It was a really first son and dad trip without mom. And the loss of Cupcake, that was his name. So if you could
Dear
imagine,
Lord. What's the name again?
Cupcake. So if you could imagine a 240-pound male screaming out after a dog who's gotten off the leash, Cupcake,
Yeah, yeah.
Cupcake. So yeah, that was pretty. But anyway, so when he passed, my son and I, we cried and we cried and we cried because we had to put him down. It was at the point where he can barely walk. He was having problems with his movements.
Yeah.
So it was just hanging on to him for our own purposes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had to put him down, and I tell you what, that's
hard.
the first time I cried over a death in years. Like, I mean, so many of my friends, his family have passed away, and you're like, it's life. You move on.
I know.
But the love of an animal like that, you can't replace that. I mean, and a lot of people who are either just cold to animals or you're hot to animals, you're warm and I'm hot.
Yeah.
So I just love my dog, and I don't go on vacation without him. I'm at that point right now where if I can't take my dog with me, guess what? I'm not
It's so
going.
funny you say that. We don't have a dog because we like to go on vacations.
But we figured out ways around it. Like we've gone to Boston, Toronto, Chicago,
Yeah, and you
St.
have a little
Louis.
dog. Those of you that don't know, Moe has a Dachshund. Which
And if
is
you
like
don't
a
know, I
tiny dog.
have a Dachshund by now. Shame on you.
So I think part of this discussion, because today's episode, if you haven't figured out by the title, is we're going to talk about pet photography. What are some tips to get better shots of your pets? But we wanted to start the episode with a discussion of
level of love that people,
the level of love
that people tend to either hide or share.
So here's one of my, not my issues, because I completely understand. I've had pets that I love to death, but bringing a pet to a family photo shoot could be an issue. It actually could bring down the level of what you could do with the family, because it has become a family pet photo shoot. So we're going to talk about that today. Like what are some tips that if someone is bringing a dog to your photo shoot, what are some things you could do? All right, but I want to talk more about the dog love. So
Omar's really fascinated with my obsession with my dog. He really is.
No. I think when I subscribe to the Cesar Millan love for dogs.
And don't.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes. So let me clear this up right off the top. Don't misunderstand my obsessional love with my dog with not letting him know that he is a dog.
All right, that's a good point, because I was going to bring that up.
No. My dog, first of all, I'm not the kind of person that would value the life of a dog over a human in the worst case scenario.
You just said you cried over a dog,
no.
a human.
But I mean, I wouldn't save my dog before I save the girlfriend or a wife.
All right, saving. I understand.
Okay, so but there's rules in the house. He can't eat this, he can't climb up on that. I don't let my dog run around. I tell him to sit. He sits. He's a trained dog.
Yeah, that's
he's not a trained son. He's not a trained boy.
That's a great point. So that's what I was going to bring up is when you watch shows like Cesar Millan and Dog Rescue and this stuff, is people treat their dogs like they're people. And I think part of the problems, especially if you're going to do photography with dogs and things, is the dog cannot behave.
Right. There's nothing worse than an untrained dog, especially when you're trying to do photography. So like I said, with my dog, there's limits. Like there's certain things he has to understand that once because all dogs want to be alpha, male or female. They want to be in charge. So in my house, the minute I see my dog exhibiting any kind of alpha behavior, I reinforce who's in charge.
And then they know you're alpha.
Right.
Yeah.
I reinforce I'm in charge. So it got to a point. I had an old joke back in the old days before it's unpolitically correct to say it, but back in the days when I had Cupcake, when he first was born, I used to tell people at work, which was fact, that when I went home and said, "Sit down," my wife, my son, and my dog all sat down. Of course, you can't run that line anymore. But anyway,
no.
But no, the first important thing about if you ever want your dog photographed, you need to teach it basic commands of sit and stay.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it sounds so basic, but if a dog can sit and stay, he can be photographed.
Absolutely.
She can be photographed.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the issue comes into play, where people bring their dog and, a lot of us are not dog photographers. We are photographers, but it takes a special ability to photograph pets. And so let's talk about some of our tips. Number one, get your dog to sit and stay.
So if you're the photographer, you have very little control over that. So your best option is to have a level of patience, all right, and to be willing to set your camera to high continuous, because you're going to have to spray.
You gotta take a lot
You're
of
gonna
shots.
have to for instance, like a lot of people think that all those amazing photos I take of PJ, which is my dog's name, by the way. Again, I'll say his name is PJ.
What does it stand for?
Peanut butter and jelly. So anyway, if you notice all those pictures, they're amazing, but they're like 17 that weren't.
Yeah,
Because
you gotta shoot high
you know,
burst.
I don't take. I take a whole set of photos before I get the one I want, and that's like the same thing with photography with kids. You're gonna have them running around the park. You're gonna probably take 17 pictures and get one that you go, wow, that's the one I wanted.
So I think we've just had 3 tips in the matter of a second. So the first one is make sure you tell the family, hey, we need the minimum is we need your dog to be. That could be something you do. That you require.
I do. I spent hours at shoots sometimes because the dog was not trained enough to sit or stay.
And then you're trying to train the dog.
And then you spend more time chasing the dog. The family's not paying attention. So I made it a minimum requirement that can your dog sit and stay?
That's it.
First question I ask before I sign a contract or send a contract is, can your dog sit or stay? And are you willing to teach them how to if they can't?
That's a great point.
If you can't, honestly, I really can't work with you.
I totally agree with that. And I've had situations where I didn't ask clients to do that. And what ends up happening is the family is distracted because everyone thinks their dog is good. Mm-hmm. You can ask on the phone. They're like, it's a good dog. Well, to them, what does good mean? It doesn't bite people.
Right. Yes. He doesn't eat the furniture while you're standing there. He's
exactly.
Good.
So what I get is the kids are so into the dog because they want to show off that their dog behaves, that everyone's pulling the dog, everyone's grabbing the dog, everyone's like trying to make the dog happy. What does the dog want to do? Check out the new environment.
Exactly. Where am I? Can I smell that? Can I smell that right now?
Yeah.
I love that. Let me smell that. Asthma.
Yeah, so the dog doesn't care that you're doing a photo shoot. The kids now are obsessed about the dog. So sit and stay is number one.
Mom's watching out for where the kids are doing. The kids are watching what the dog's doing. It's a vicious cycle.
Please, you're getting me all riled up now.
So yeah, first important rule is you don't ask them if it's a good dog, like you said, because they're going to tell you. Of course, he's a good dog. He's my dog. Ask them, is the dog trained to sit and stay on command?
Okay, my hint number 2: require the family to have an extra person that will not be photographed that is a pet handler. You have a family of 5 and a dog. It makes no sense to chain the dog up somewhere where it's barking. Then everyone's like distracted by the dog. Mm-hmm. You need that extra person who's a dog sitter. Require someone that will handle the dog so that you can photograph the family. Get that stuff out of the way before you introduce the dog.
I agree with that 100% because in the past I've actually had to Photoshop the dog into the shoot.
Oh, I was about to. That was one of my hints. That's one of my. Let's throw that in right now.
Yeah.
So you already brought up high burst, right?
Right.
So let's say you're doing shots with the family and you throw the dog in there. Our hint was shoot high burst, but then our next shot. Our next...
you may have to Photoshop the dog into it. So if you take a high burst of 17 shots...
And the dog's doing this, and left and right.
You got that one
head.
perfect shot where he's set, but everyone else is doing something chaotic. As long as you have them in the same lighting and the same scenario, then you could easily just cut out the good dog into the good family photo.
Oh, excellent. And I've done that in the past because you have to. And the other thing you want to tell your family too, if you have everyone posed, right, and you sit the dog down in the middle... and we'll get to our hints on how you get the dog's attention in a second. But when you have everyone sitting with the dog, one of my suggestions is tell everyone to just leave the dog alone. Mm-hmm. Have them focused on you, the photographer, because you will handle the dog. You will actually get the dog to look in camera. There's no point of them looking or talking to the dog, but
because
we do that.
They're out of they're not ready to be shot then.
Yeah.
And then by the time the dog's looking, then they look up. Now the dog's not looking. So it's like a big Abbott and Costello, Three Stooges routine going on with the dog.
Oh, I hate it, man.
Yeah.
Every time someone says, "Can I bring a dog?" I there's like this little thing in my spine because I know how much more work it is. But I also do understand what it means.
See, and it also, you get that from the photography of the family with the dog. I do a lot of solo pet photography.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Yeah, right. You're right. I am talking about family throwing the dog in.
Right. So that's one problem there. But yeah. So again, it's important that you are willing to edit the photo after the fact. This is one of those cases where getting it right in camera may not be the best thing or the realistic thing.
It's impossible.
Right.
All right. So now let's say that you have, let's get the family out of there. You're taking pictures of the dog. One thing that, let's say you're doing studio work, which is really nice. All right. It's a controlled environment. You have a lot of patience. The dog is sitting in front of gray. Let's just say like a gray background. What are some techniques to get the dog's attention or get some images?
Simple thing is always food, right? So I have kibbles with little small bits because you obviously don't want to give a dog 18,000 big snacks or treats because that's not good for them.
Do
so
you
have small
do you have
little kibbles.
people like have the dog come like half hungry, or is that
No,
no?
because the advantage of dog, they'll always eat.
Oh, you're right.
They will always eat. They will always eat. They're like mini me's.
Ah, that's true.
So
it
here's
doesn't
two
matter-
things
yeah.
I do when I'm in studio with a dog. As weird as this is going to sound, as weird as it's going to sound. First
you
of all,
hear
the
me
fact that you're in
recommending
studio-
starvation for?
No, that's we're gonna edit that in.
No,
we're gonna keep it, but we're gonna edit that out. But what I'm saying is, I have a setup with two lighting setups identical, facing each other. So if the dog is on his left side,
That's a good point.
I'm ready to fire on this side, and if he goes on this side, I switch the remote so it'll fire this side.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It saves you time because not all dogs want to sit in this direction. You
Yeah.
can't control them. If they're sitting, they're doing the first job you want it done, right?
That's cool.
So you have to make it easier for yourself to get the shot when they're ready.
That's cool. I think what I would do, that's cool, the left and right thing. Never thought of that. I think instead I would use like a really big, humongous umbrella that drapes light all over the dog, and maybe like a little hair light in the back. You know, like some either continuous light or something that gives a rim light in
And
the
that
back.
works too, but depending on where the dog puts his snout, you're going to get shadows.
Yeah.
So that's why I do the dual setup when I need it.
Man, that's why I would use soft light is to like reduce as much shadow as possible. But going back to dog attention, I think one thing I like to do for dog attention is sound. So instead of them being, because if you have treats, they'll give you that
Crazy look.
frenzy look, right?
yeah.
But if you give them a sound like, I do that sometimes where I'm like,
That works. You'll get this one.
yeah, exactly. They don't know
Because-
what's going on, so you get a little.
whenever a dog hears a unique sound for the first time, they'll give you the dual ear twist because they're trying to bring that sound in as quickly as possible.
So I would say, yeah, have a sound.
That works, and I use that technique. But the problem is, the longer you're in that shoot, the less that sound becomes effective.
Oh, so you got to have like a repertoire. Like,
Right? Yeah. You have like an etch a sketch of sounds in your body. You know.
Yeah, but I think for what I do, which is like, hey, let's throw the dog in at the end of a family photo shoot, for me, the sound works. But I'd say if you're bringing it up a level, if you're becoming a pet photographer, you do need to do what Mo says, like have a repertoire, have different like squeezy toys at different pitches,
Squeezy toys,
have
different
a little,
noises.
like,
Remember,
quiet whistle.
they're not reacting to you; they're reacting to the uniqueness of the sound. So the minute they become accustomed to one sound, you have to switch it out to a different one.
You ever see the guy who takes pictures of like those gray Wieslas? No, Weimaraners.
I don't even want to say that word.
You know he does like calendars. He shoots his two big gray dogs on gray background, and they're like artistically beautiful. I'll put it up
I'll
here.
have to look at those. Yeah.
And the Weimaraner is such a beautiful dog with blue eyes.
Oh, I know them. Yes. Okay,
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And he dresses them too. He's like you. He's freaking putting costumes on them, but beautiful work. And what his work does, and it's a good tip next, is to try to get the dog looking into the camera. To get expression from a dog, because dogs don't really have like any whites to their eyes. They
No.
have like these black.
Yeah, they're like
Lifeless.
solid eyes. Whatever color it is, it's solid.
Right.
So you want to. That's not 9 out of 10 times. Unless you're outdoors, you're gonna work with strobes because you need to have that pop in their eyes somewhere.
Yeah, or you need to get a big catch light from something.
Yes.
because you're going to have dead eye.
Completely dog dead
Yeah.
eyes, and that's even worse than human dead eyes. And,
Yeah.
and even though every day you're looking at your dog, you don't see any catch in their eyes. When you photograph them, you want that in
You
there.
know, dogs too are terrible if you're using strobes. They have worse than red eye. They have like complete
Devil eyes.
Devil eyes.
Devil's eyes.
Yeah. So, we're getting a lot of wind here. I hope.
Our own wind blockers.
So I think it doesn't it seem like a great career though to go in the morning to your studio and have pets come in, and almost like you're the vet, and one at a time they come in and you patiently work with dogs. I could see that being a great career.
It is a great career, depending on your patient.
You're
client.
right. You're right. But that
Again,
could be the challenges that you.
the biggest challenge is are you as a human keeping that dog trained?
Yeah.
And there's, again, if you own a pet, that's a dog, because cats do whatever the hell they want. But if you have a
even talk
dog
about
and you don't have a dog that sits and stays, guess what you need to work on right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Because that is, for safety, for so many reasons, sit and stay are mandatory commands that the very minimum your dog needs to know.
Let's talk about cats. I mean, you really are at the.
I love cats. I hate cat photography. They're the
I don't really
hardest.
see many people doing it. I mean, does anyone ask for cat people are weird. I don't think they
done
want
it,
pictures
yeah.
of their cats besides like their phone pictures.
Well, I always tell them, if you want your cat in the photo, guess what? You're going to be in the cat photo too.
Oh, I see. Well, you could
Because-
put like a gray backdrop on them.
The only thing is, I've only done, I think, 2 in my career, and I've used a red dot with them, the laser dots,
Oh, okay.
because that will get their attention. But you have to shoot
Think
fast
about, like,
because they're going to
the
go
gun,
crazy.
like the Terminator.
Yeah, like you put that where they can see it, and then you point it back at the camera, so they'll look at the camera. So it's a 2-person
Oh,
job.
that's a cool thing to do.
But at the same time, is like they get really forensic about those red dots. So you got to shoot
Cats
fast.
are, oh my God, forget it.
I,
There's no
I honestly don't take any more cat work if I don't have to. But you know, obviously, if someone comes in and asks you enough and they're paying you, you break your own rules.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
So-
we do this for money and to make sure people are happy.
Yeah, so what? Let me ask you about that. We do this for money. What is the product that we sell as pet photographers? If someone's going to be a pet photographer, is someone want an heirloom framed piece of their dog, you think? Or more like a fun family book where it's kids and the dog?
It all depends. I'll send you a picture of Teddy. I'm not sure you'll have time to edit it in, but they wanted to do. A friend of mine has a little chunky Dachshund called Teddy, and his mother loves him to death.
Okay.
So the husband purchased it as a birthday gift. So it was metal tin pictures. It was amazing. So yeah, you can go anywhere from full family portrait for the dog, portrait for the dog, to just a simple snapshot to laugh about. So
I like it. But don't you think if someone is going to specialize,
I see what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm the top pet photographer in my area.
Mm-hmm.
What do you offer your clients? Because we're all going digital now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you offer digital somehow in a package. But do you want people to have art of their dog?
Yeah.
You know, like the guy doing.
Canvases, tins, metal prints, whatever it takes. Yeah.
So that goes back to how we started this episode. Are you preying on the people who love their dogs, like that bury them in pet cemeteries, kind of thing? Do you know what I mean?
praying
that
is
your
the wrong
client?
word, but that's what you're aiming for.
Oh, aiming, not praying. But I mean, your client target is people.
Your clientele base is those people who, unfortunately, for one reason or another, who don't want kids or don't have kids.
Okay, that's a good point.
So
You're right.
the pet becomes their kids.
You're right. But
And
look,
they're willing to spend like $2,000 to get their teeth brushed. They have no problem to come in here.
Good point.
And
Good point.
because dogs have to be put to sleep, not put to sleep to death, but it has to be anesthesia.
Yeah.
When they get their teeth cleaned professionally, because it's
Oh.
really hard, painful work.
Yeah, I've heard that
So
before.
if you're spending all that money to get your dog's teeth cleaned, you might actually spend a decent amount of money to get them photographed every once in a while.
That's a good point. I think my product, if I was doing pet photography, is I would love for people to have like a book of their dog. Mm-hmm. Because dogs don't last forever, and you want clients to kind of come back. Maybe one piece they could put it, like maybe a triplet.
Based on exactly what you're saying, I can't think of who it was, but I saw one of those like small Reddit articles. That wasn't a Reddit article, but when you're looking at one thing and you end up finding something else on the internet. So the person would do his clients were from puppy, 1-year-old,
that's
2-year-old
great.
to like elderly age.
So you have that's
So you have that whole triage of that dog.
That's a good point. And then you can make a book at the end, or you
Yes.
can have different little books of the
Yes, because
puppy
everyone
life.
knows dogs are going to die quicker than most humans, right?
Yeah.
So that's what his thing is. Like, he gets you in there with the puppy, and he'll sell you
A
coming
whole
back.
package. That's
right.
great.
Like, you spend this much money, and you get the first 5 years of pictures free.
Nice.
You know?
That's very cool. Yeah. That's a good way to have an end product too, where they could on the wall have the whole dog.
Exactly.
That's a great idea. I'm stealing that with people. Actually, they do it with people with kids' first life.
That's what the guy said. He stole the idea from his
course.
kid's photographer.
Yeah.
And before he became a photographer, he paid every year to have his kid photographed by this one guy. And he's like, "Why can't I do that with your dog?"
Oh, that's so cool.
You
Oh
know,
my God.
genius is genius.
Yeah, so I think it's a great market. If there's so many wedding photographers, so many portrait photographers. If you love dogs, and forget cats, because no one wants to photograph fucking
Cats are
cats.
devils. Cats are devils.
Sorry.
Anyone that jumps on your chest when you're sleeping and just looks at you, they're the devil.
Would you have a heirloom shot of PJ? Like, would you put a picture up of PJ?
Yeah, I have pictures all over the house of PJ.
Oh my God.
I do. I have him when he was a puppy. I have him when he's walking around in one of his hoodies. I have him in his Batman outfit. Yes, PJ has a hoodie.
I think that's where we should end this.
He's got a Redskin outfit.
Oh my god!
The fact that
you got to send me a lot of pictures for this episode because no one's going to believe how ridiculous you are.
Follow
but anyway,
he's got his own Instagram page.
You know the saying, "Love your dog, don't love your dog."
Too late. I love my dog.
All right, guys. So we hope that was helpful. Leave us your tips below. Yeah, and man, it's such a beautiful day. Get out and shoot your dog, man. Shoot your dog.
Shoot your dog. That's just not what he means, folks. He means take pictures of your dog.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.